Yes, welcome everyone. Just taking a few moments to connect with each other and appreciate that we found together in this virtual temple, in this virtual meditation room. I already said I'm in Portugal right now, walking the Camino. To Santiago Compostela. So I invite you into the sacred space. Yeah, there's a few more people connecting. Hi, Anne.
Hello.
Are you in Sweden?
No, in Zimbabwe.
In Zimbabwe. Okay. Wow. We have a really international. So there's my niece from Kopan in Nepal, and then there's Anne, and then there is Lone from Denmark. Yes, and then all the wonderful New Yorkers, and I don't know, not all of you are in New York, but most of you, I think. Yeah, it's fantastic how we can connect with each other with the internet. So what I would like to share today with you is a meditation combining, you could say, mindfulness of the five sense doors and the um, I like to see everyone. Did I change it now or no? Okay. So I would like to share a meditation with you with the combination of mindfulness practice of the five senses and combining that with the non-finding of a separate solid lasting I, the non-finding of the non-existing I. And walking now again really appreciate makes me appreciate again like the basic Buddhist practice of being aware of what we're doing. And sometimes when we get into the Tibetan tradition and we do all the studies and all the complex practices and mantras and prayers and so on, quite often this basic fundamental Buddhist practice gets lost. I don't know how it is for you. Maybe like a few years ago, we did some Thich Nhat Hanh, washing the dishes mindfully, and we did that 5 years ago, and okay, we did it, and then it's gone. Yeah? So I also would like to do a bit of advertising again, or a bit of reminding that it is actually the foundation of our practice should be present moment awareness, bringing attention to what is in the present moment, to what we see, what we feel, what we taste. That's really important. And then if we can combine that kind of practice with the meditation on emptiness, it's very powerful. For me, it has been very powerful the last days. Yeah? Bringing my attention to my senses and then looking for the eye who is hearing, the eye who is smelling, the eye who is walking, and then not finding that eye because it does not exist. There's this process going on, sense data coming in, and your conceptual mind doing something with the sense data. That's what is happening, but we add something extra. We add something extra. We add the I, the me, the center, the controller, the hearer, the smeller, the walker. So, and that is the most cause confusion. There's more subtle confusion, but the most caused confusion is that we believe in a separate, solid, lasting, unitary I. And our job is to look for that I and not find it. So that's the first in our meditation. I would like to bring us into the five senses. And the second is, again, also as a reminder, probably the most important aspect of our meditation practice is kindness to ourselves, care to ourselves. Really, really. And I see Pat breathing. Which is, yeah, uh, you know, and I mean, you are in the Dharma for a long time, yeah, and you've heard that again and again, and but then it's like, wow, oh yeah, it's so nice to hear it again, right? And to be reminded, and then feel like, oh yeah, I haven't done this today, I haven't done the self-compassion mudra. Shit, I forgot it. I did all my refuge and bodhicitta prayer and my Tara mantra, and I was a good girl, but I didn't do yeah, and um, that's so important. Yeah, without that, all the other stuff doesn't work anyway. Yeah, I mean the emptiness stuff and the bodhicitta stuff, if it's not based on a sense of being comfortable with yourself and kind and loving to the different parts of you, of different feelings which are coming up today. Yeah, so I think that's the foundation of our meditation practice. It's a present moment awareness. What's here? What do I hear? What do I feel? What do I smell? What do I sense? And maitri, loving kindness, or karuna, compassion. Yeah. And that's the sanctuary you can enter every day in your meditation practice. A self-created sanctuary where you feel safe, where there's no pressure, where you don't do anything, so you are not productive, you're not being productive, but you take every day this time to give yourself an inner sanctuary in present moment awareness, filled with loving kindness, filled with care. Yeah, so let's do that. I will guide you, and then after the meditation, there will be a bit of time for questions. So if you take your seat, so that assuming this seat of the sons and daughters of the Buddha, that is an outer symbol of that sanctuary in your meditation practice. So there is some dignity in that posture, taking your space, and then there's the gentleness, the letting go. So give yourself the space to shift from the head into the body. like a leaf falling down onto a lake. And maybe you can introduce the question, how am I right now? How am I? What is happening in the inner weather? How am I? And to go with that question not into the stories, but into the felt sense of your body. How am I this moment? And as best as possible to welcome the guests in the guest house of the body. And so this allowing or this welcoming, that's so crucial, that you feel comfortable in your own sanctuary, that you can let yourself be okay exactly as you are. Or there's maybe some discomfort, there's some restlessness or tiredness. But what we explore here is what if you let it be okay? That's with that open heart, with that warmth, particularly if this moment is a bit difficult for you because you bring something from your life into this moment. And you stay with the breath and the felt sense of your body, present moment awareness. And then, if this makes sense for you, we bring the quality of Maitri, of Karuna, of Bodhicitta into our meeting through through calling upon the Buddha, Tara, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Lama Yeshe, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, whatever symbol can bring that quality into this moment. And you feel their presence, maybe hear their voices, feel them touching you. You also have a scent of loving kindness, of Maitri, maybe of roses. And you're just breathing in this, taking it in as if you're bathing. And really shifting gear from the doing to being here. And the past exists only in thoughts, future exists only in thoughts. And as Lama Yeshe says, you have everything available in this moment in order to be complete. So it is actually everything you need to be whole or at rest or at peace is available in this moment. So try to relax and rest in your sanctuary. With connection and trust into your innate freedom, your innate purity. Appreciating that we're here together as Sangha in the mandala of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So, and within that, I would like now to guide you through a little journey through the 5 sense doors, combined with a self-inquiry. So we start with the hearing. So I invite you to bring your attention into the soundscape. You stay connected, but anchored with the breath in the present moment in your body. But you bring the sounds around you and within you to the foreground. In a light way, we don't need to concentrate here. There can be also just a appreciation and a gratefulness for being able to hear in this moment. And appreciate that you receive the sounds. So it's not like that something new, the beam of attention needs to go out. So it's receiving. You just relax and open, and you receive the sounds. Without going into stories or images around the sounds. And if it's very quiet where you are, like where I am right now, I don't hear anything. There's still that openness to the soundscape. And I can hear inner sounds, like I can hear a bit my blood in my heart. But maybe where you are, there's outer sounds, and just receiving them. Opening and softening into the soundscape. And keeping that in the foreground. So that's the primary meditation object, right? Bare sounds. And softening and relaxing into it. So, and then to make this a self-inquiry meditation, we just add the question, is there an I which is separate from the sounds, an I who is listening, an I or a me, a self who is listening. So there's the sound, and you look for the one who is listening. So you keep in touch with the sounds, looking for the listener. Is there a separate listener? And where could she be? So you look into your body, you look all around, up and down to all sides, around the sound, for the one, for the me, for the self who is listening. So we are looking for the reference object of the word I when we say, I am listening. So that word I am listening, implies that there is an I which is separate from the listen. And now you check that. Is that the case? Is there an I separate from the listen? And of course, most of us, we have heard Buddhist teachings before. We know that there is not such an I. But unfortunately, we need to look for it and not find it. And we need to do it quite a long time, probably a few years. So again, take a moment with stabilizing with the listening, and then is there an I, a me, a myself, separate from the listening? Is there a listener? And where could she be, or he? And then we switch channels and we go into touch. So bring your attention to a place where you feel some sensations in your body, maybe where your hands are touching your body, but it could be also some sensations just through your posture, where you sit on the chair. So, and again, we make that the primary meditation object, the sensations, letting go of the sounds. Relaxing into sensations and receiving those sensations. And appreciation, gratitude again can help to actually make it possible for you to stay with the sensations. Because the narrative self will try to bring you away from being here, being in present moment awareness. So it needs some fascination or some interest from your side to stay connected with present moment awareness. And sensations. Breathing with that, softening and opening, allowing. So there are sensations. And then the question is there a separate I, a separate me, a separate self, which has this sensation, which feels these sensations? And then you look. And if that question is being answered by a thought, like, yeah, of course, I feel this. Yeah, it's obvious, I feel this. Then you look for that I. Where could that be, that I, which seems to be so obvious, the receiver of this sensation? Because the thought I doesn't receive the sensation. A thought can't receive sensation. Thought is not aware. A thought is an object, not a subject. Again, you stay in touch with the sensation, and then you look for the I who has this sensation, who is aware of those sensations. And again, of course, okay. Okay, so let's.
Your microphone is unmuted. Your video is stopped. It's not you.
I think it makes sense to go to the listening now. That's called flexible awareness.
I don't have the picture. And I'm not hearing anything. Oh, you're not hearing anything either?
No, I'm not saying anything. That's why you don't hear anything. Can you can't mute Helen? Helen, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we hear your background and everything. You have to
He said, Helen, can you hear it?
you have to unmute yourself.
Unmute. Mute yourself.
No, not hate yourself, unmute yourself. Ah, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, so what I just mentioned, flexible awareness. So this was a good example. If you do a certain meditation, like a breathing meditation or whatever, and then there's noise or there's some pain in the body. So it's really good to have that flexibility then to shift the primary meditation object to that what seems to be a hindrance and make it actually the primary meditation object. Otherwise, meditation becomes very frustrating. Trying to do something which is impossible to do unless you are really a super meditator. Yeah. So if something like this happens, I immediately shift to that which could be called in hindrances and make that my primary meditation object. Yeah. So in that way, there are actually no hindrances because you work with that. You work with that which is then presented by your environment or the inner or outer environment. You work with that then. So let's do the taste. Let's do the taste. Yeah. So you don't have something in your mouth probably right now, but there's always some taste in your mouth. So let's tune in into taste. Make that the primary meditation object. Bit of breath and the body as an anchor. And then again, the question, is there a separate I, a separate me, a separate taster, the one who's tasting? And where could that be? We say, I am tasting. So we are looking now for that I. And we're looking in the body and mind. Or if one wants to be more specific, in the five aggregates, but it's just a more complex way to describe body and mind. So we look for that I. So the taste. And then checking, is there a separate me, a separate I tasting? And you look there where maybe you have a sense that there is something, maybe a sense in your body. There's maybe your name or a memory or an image of your body. And then you look at that, and it's obvious that that is not the I. That's not the one who is tasting. And then we shift the channel. We go to the smelling. So bring your awareness to the smell, present moment awareness. You notice any smell. maybe your own, from the surroundings. And notice how much you can actually do it right now, in the sense of how much are you drowning in thoughts about something, and how much are you able to actually make the scent or the smell the primary meditation object. And the narrative self doesn't like it. It wants you to be in suffering, in drama, in confusion. It wants you to be in the future or in the past or in judgment of what is happening in the present moment. So try for a few moments to be really just with the smell, just that. Softening and opening. So, and then again, we turn this into a meditation on emptiness of the self. Just to the question, is there a separate I smelling? So we are looking for the reference object of the I am smelling this. So where is that I? And that I, which we are looking for, is separate, lasting, and unitary. And it's probably it's pretty obvious that that the I doesn't exist, but we still have to look and not find it. And if you're doing this, there could be always like a little surprise. You know it's not there, but the not finding is like, there could be always a bit of a response. Wow, yeah, there is no I, there is no me. I can't find it. That's pretty amazing. Because if I don't look, then it seems to be so obvious that there is an I, that there is a me. And then we shift to the seeing. And even if you have your eyes closed, then you can use the patterns or the colors you see behind your eyes, behind your eyelids. Maybe some light is coming in. And we have been doing this quite a while now already. So maybe it becomes a little bit more difficult to actually engage in this meditation. Just become aware of that. And see if you can maybe correct your posture a little and come back. It's, for most of us, it's not that easy to stay in the present moment with what is, in this case now, with what you see, either with open or closed eyes. It's so easy for us to drown in thought, right? So easy. thoughts about the future and the past. So, and then again, we turn this into a meditation on selflessness by asking the question, is there a separate I or me which is seeing? A separate I, separate me from the seeing? Or is there someone who is seeing, someone separate? And that I, that me, where could it be? If it exists, it would be findable if you look for it. So let's look for it. And you look in the body and mind. So looking in the mind means you maybe see a mental image of yourself. You have a sense of I in the body somewhere, maybe. Maybe your name comes to mind, your gender. But that's, of course, all of that is not the I, not the me. Okay, so and then the last is actually called the sixth sense, and that is the mental sense. It's called mental consciousness, and that's the capacity to be aware of thoughts. So let's ground ourselves a bit in the body and the breath. And see if you can have a sense of your thoughts. That means the inner dialogue and the mental images. That to get a sense of them as objects of awareness. And this is for beginners in meditation not so obvious, but maybe you can get a bit of like you make a backward step and you look at thoughts and mental images as objects, as if they are sounds, as if they are tastes, they are objects. And then again, the question, is there an I or me who is in control of these thoughts, who is thinking these thoughts? So is there a separate, solid thinker? And then you look for that. And if you find thoughts as an answer, then of course, you ask that question again. You recognize thoughts as thought, and you ask the question, where is the thinker? Is there a separate, lasting, unitary thinker? Okay. So now, just getting a sense of these streams of sense data, present moment awareness. sensations, sounds, taste, smell, what you see. And then what your conceptual mind does with these data, or calling it something, liking something, disliking something. That's all the function of the conceptual mind. You get a sense how that is a stream changing moment by moment. Like it's also called the stream of consciousness. And this stream is shaped by your karma. So it's shaped by what has happened before. The temperature you feel, the feelings you feel right now, the pleasant and unpleasant. You get a sense of those processes, many processes happening at the same time. And these processes are connected in a network. It's like a weather. The weather of today is connected with many, many processes. And imagine or feel the relaxation or openness to what is happening in the present moment when you don't find an I, when you don't find a center, when you experience that there's nothing to defend here, that there is no I, that there is no me, that there's no foundation for self-importance, because there is no self. So tap into that possibility of complete openness to what is. No resistance at all. No trying to control. No trying to get something out of this for yourself. Just openness, just presence. This is also called the heart like the sky. It's the end of seeking. It's wholeness. It's peace. It is radical present moment awareness. No resistance at all. And everything happens by itself. The thoughts, the decisions, the movements, the feelings, everything happens by itself. And it can't be different than it is because it is connected with everything else. It's like it's just waves in the ocean of life. And each of these waves, feelings, thoughts, sensations, can't be different than they are. In that way, they are all perfect. So wherever you are, however you feel today, this is perfect. It can't be different. Okay, and then take your time to slide out. If you have your eyes closed, start to Look around a bit. No shapes and colors. I mean, seeing is it's just amazing. Yeah. So that would be anchoring yourself in the present moment with a seeing. Shapes and colors. And seeing without labeling those things. And then hearing, tasting, smelling. Yeah, I invite you in this moment to kind of wake up from this drowning in thoughts, drowning in memories, drowning in that blah, 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 in the radio station of the narrative self. And maybe there is a sense door which you particularly like. You know? Different people have different preferences. So maybe you like to touch and you like to feel your body. Some people are like really into listening. They really appreciate. I mean, you're listening to my voice now. It's so amazing. I mean, it's so rich a voice, yeah? A human voice. So it's like not just the information in the words. It's like, each voice is unique, and you can recognize that. You will always recognize my voice between millions of other people. Isn't that amazing? So, and that I'm saying these things to kind of uh, um, remind ourselves, myself included, the preciousness of present moment awareness. Coming back to this kind of basic Thich Nhat Hanh mindfulness of present moment, taste, smell, walking, bringing awareness to what we're doing. And it's so difficult, right? Because we are so used to drowning in thought. So in all of that, in this miracle which is happening right now, there's no I, there's no me, there's no core, there's no center, except the one you make up. Yeah? So there is one, there is an I, but it's completely made up. It's an hallucination. It's like Santa Claus, doesn't exist. And we all know that because we have read it in the books. But that is not enough. Somehow we need to do that, not finding and reflecting again, and then looking and not finding and not finding. And yeah, let's have just a few minutes of break. I need to drink something. And maybe you too, just moving around and see if you can do 5 minutes break in Thich Nhat Hanh style. Yeah, like just okay, that's a step, and I do a step. I do this. I take a cup of or whatever, open the window or whatever. So see if you can take these 5 minutes as a mindfulness practice, awareness of what you're doing. So see you at 5:30. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, good. I got disconnected. Yeah, so is there any comment or question around the meditation I guided or what I said in the beginning? Any comments? How did the meditation go? Was there something helpful in it? One interesting what can be what can be helpful is to become aware whenever you hear someone or when you're reading about it that there is no I, there is no me. So what does it do with you? What's your response to it? Hmm? What are you? What are your fears around it, or joys around it? There's different responses possible. Uh, so that's maybe something interesting to have also in your awareness. How this meditation of looking for an I, how does it make you feel? What was happening? Yeah, Philip.
Stephan, thank you as always. So it's interesting because with these kinds of meditations, it's as if the world is changed to becoming simply object. There's no subject, it's just object. Everything is just object. So the question becomes, what has happened to the subject? And of course, that's the question. But what you notice is the subject itself doesn't become an object. So if you're meditating on a mountain, there is just the mountain, but there's not you. You're not part of that anymore. The trees and the sky, the mountain, they're all still there.
Yes. And whatever you would become aware of, whatever you would feel or think of, or would be all objects. So any sense of I, any mental images, any memories, it's all objects. It's all objects. And the question is of what? So you don't find the subject, because as soon as you find something, it's an object. This is really profound. There must be a subject somehow, yeah, because or maybe not. I don't know. But whenever I find something, it can't be the subject because it's an object. Yeah? So the subject remains to be a mystery. It's undescribable, ungraspable. You have the right face, Philip, for it. Like really like puzzled, you know. That's it. That's a good that's a good response. And here in this kind of so this was the path of negation. Yeah. So we were looking for something and not finding. Yeah, not finding, and nothing was and we didn't say, yeah, but there's still something there. You know, we just continued not finding. That's what the Buddha does in the Heart Sutra. You know, like he takes everything away, but he doesn't give us anything. It's just like because everything he just takes everything away. All the carpets we stand upon, yeah, just, yeah. And because he was talking to monks, the carpets in that case are mainly like all kinds of spiritual knowledge and all kinds of attainments and you know 9 stages or whatever, Four Noble Truth and all of that. So he takes that all away, but he doesn't give us anything. Yeah, and then you make a face like you just did. And tomorrow I want to go into the same kind of meditation, but more from a Mahamudra point of view, where then that's the third turning of the wheel of Dharma. After the second turning on the Prajnaparamita, then on the third turning, the Buddha talks about Buddha nature. That is the whole foundation of Tantra and I always like to kind of dance between these two approaches, yeah, like the path of negation and then the Mahamudra path, which is more based on the third turning of the wheel. But this, what you said, Philip, I think it's really worth to bring into one's inquiry. So whatever I'm aware of, whatever I can find is not the subject. It's an object of awareness. So there is something here like, yeah, it should us really, it should really puzzle us. Yeah. Like an image you have of yourself, like the sense of your body right now, the thoughts you have now, the sounds you hear now, the feeling of me, like being in the center somehow, or being this body, all of that are objects of awareness. Yes.
So that leaves awareness. And
yeah,
that makes one think of the third turning of the wheel. But I've heard Geluk teachers say it's the second turning of the wheel that is really the highest level of understanding.
Yeah, that's right. But there's other teachers who say the minority says it's not the highest view. The majority, in at least for sure in the Geluk tradition, maybe all over Tibetan Buddhism, probably it's the path of negation. Yeah, the Prasankhika Madhyamika view, second turning of the wheel. Yeah. Lama Zopa said to me once, to these two approaches, different philosophies, same experience. Yeah? Different philosophies, same experience. So it is both lead into the same experience, but then they are described differently, and different methods are used to bring us into the experience. But it's the same experience. And when you say that leaves us with awareness, of course, there is that danger already when we use a word like this. Oh, this leaves us with awareness. So we are awareness. Awareness is the subject. That is already too reifying, too solidifying. Yeah, it's like it implies that there is something which I am. I am awareness. With some people, so in Vedanta teachings, that they would say that I am awareness. As a Buddhist, you would rather say, but there is no I who could be awareness. And what is awareness anyway? And awareness is also empty. If you look for awareness, you don't find anything. So maybe one could say, if you bring an understanding into the sentence, into the word awareness, empty awareness, awareness which is not findable, then probably you get into kind of a more Geluk view. Yeah? So as long as we are aware that when we use the word awareness, we are not talking about a self-existing, self-empowered thing which is findable, then I think we can say sentences like that. Yeah, awareness is the subject, but it's empty. It's not findable. It exists merely labeled by mind. Yes.
So it seems equally possible that awareness is all of the objects.
Yeah. That would go very much into Yogacara school, mind only, Siddhamatri school. I think like experiential, if I would lead a meditation, like in our meditation we just did, I could have easily added a sentence like, and whatever you experience right now is an appearance in consciousness. And what is it made of? The experience. Yeah, it's made out of consciousness. Like what you experience right now, what you see, what you feel, what you taste, the experience of it is an appearance in consciousness. There's no doubt about it. So in that way, you could say the objects right now, even the sense object, the experience itself, even we don't need to even discuss if there is an outside world or not, but the experience of the so-called outside world can happen only as an appearance within consciousness made out of consciousness. So I think it makes sense to say that all the objects are made out of consciousness, at least the experience of them. And I think, I mean, that's my personal opinion, also based on science, scientific findings. I think it could be that we are heading also in Western science towards a view which says that consciousness is the primary substance. Not matter, not time, but consciousness. Consciousness is the primary substance. That's my assumption, at least for now, and that's my experience in meditation. Right now, right now, what I experience, the feelings I have right now, what I see, the connection I have with you, all that is appearance within consciousness. That's why this being said, this is like a dream. It is like a dream. This experience is made out of the same stuff as my dreams are in the night. Yeah. Yes, Pam.
Yeah, thank you, Stephan. It's great to be back. It strikes me, for me, I feel like I'm sort of made out of words. And so for me, the great thing about these meditations is to escape from language. And so much of this feels like a language game. Subject, object, these are grammatical units. And, throw them out, when to sort of, and we're locked in that. We're locked in language. We have to have language. But those moments when you can stand, well, something stands outside of language. For me, that's just a great relief.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And did that happen in your
Yes.
meditation?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. There's that moment, when you get to the sixth, the sense consciousness, and it's odd because sense consciousness, you would think that's where language originates, but I feel as if it's not in language. It's not. Sense consciousness is outside of language or other than language, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so I feel the relief of being sort of unburdened from definition, categorizing, naming, labeling, all of that falls away when language falls away. It's sort of, it disperses. And it made me also reflect that that's why retreats are so great. When you're in silence and retreat, you have that gift of experience without constant articulating. So freeing yourself from articulation feels so great.
Let's take the last 10 minutes to get a bit into present moment awareness. Because that's really, as I said in the beginning, such a foundation of our practice. And so if you again ask yourself the question, how am I? So, but not like as if a friend asks you and you need to give an answer or something, like really as an invitation to enter this sanctuary of beingness. How am I? And you Notice how this question can bring you deeper into your body. And the breath. So you gravitate towards present moment awareness. And there could be something unpleasant happening, some restlessness in your body. Maybe you notice how the narrative self tries to bring some story into the present moment. And then you could ask the question, so what is here without words? Yeah? Is there something here which is not a word, which is not a thought? Is there something here which is not a thought, which is not a word? So you use that as a compass in the meditation, gravitating more and more into a thought-free state, a state without memory, without judgment, because all the memory, judgments, good, bad, and so on, that's all thoughts. And see if you can sink into that. Thoughts will continue to arise, and there will be words and there will be mental images, but see if you can unhook from that. You unhook into a thought-free space. Breathing there. Shoulders and belly and face can relax. And unhooking from thinking, unhooking from thought. Is there anything here which is not a thought, which is not a word? And gravitating towards that, into your sanctuary. And without falling asleep. So there's a possibility that it is kind of relaxing to let go for a few moments of these worry thoughts, and that we kind of fall asleep. So we bring some gratefulness or some love into this, attentiveness. The joy of experiencing, the joy of being here. Without any pressure, without the need to do something, without the need to figure something out. And appreciating breathing. So, and then at the end of our meeting, let's radiate that calm beingness into the world. The non-violent beingness, and just being soft and fulfilled. And so radiate that out. Just being yourself. Glowing beingness into the world, into your surroundings, and sharing. Yeah, then if you open your eyes, if they are closed, then we can reconnect. Thank you so much. My plan is to see you tomorrow again.
Thank you, Stephan. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you. Thank you. I hope Jesus
Thank
shows
you.
me a hotel.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
luck.